My name is Nada. If you know me, you'll know one of the most important things to me is the universal art form that is music. But more specifically, is the impact, emotions, and conversations that the perfect album or song ignites. Each episode explores the themes of a different album, and I invite my friends from various walks of life to speak on their personal thoughts, experiences, and help me break it down. Basically, I was watching the Grammy Awards and John Baptiste had his acceptance speech, and he said that albums and songs basically have like their own special radar and they reach people when they need it to hear it the most. When I heard this project, I was like, wow, I needed to hear it at this time. And I remember it perfectly. I was with my girl in the front seat of the car and we were just vibing to it and we just paused it at every second thinking, wow, this couldn't be more relatable.
So for me, it took me a while to start listening to this year because I'm not a fan of listening to my problems. Like I already know what I'm going through. I don't need anyone to sing about it.
I don't need it in melody.
I don't need my problems in melody. I don't need that.
When I was listening to it, it brought me back to like my uni days because after uni, not that I stopped speaking to men, but I stopped letting them in enough to, if I get bun, then it's like once in a while. It's not like every other week. Do you get it? But when I was in uni now, a whole different lifetime. So it kind of brought me back to there. And I was like, oh, babe, do you know what I mean? You know, like them girls that wear their heart on their sleeves, like, I love you so much and I love everything that's happening here. And that's kind of what it was like, kind of given to me. And I want our women to actually rein it in. My name's Henrie. What I would tell my 21-year-old self is to not think too deeply about what other people have to say or think about you. To live life as your truest self, whoever God has made you to be it. And to not take things so deeply because however people act towards you has more to do with them than it actually is to do with you. Unless you literally are the villain, then change.
So my question to you guys is, when was your last get it together bitch moment and what was it about?
My last get your shit together babe moment, right, happened with the influence of alcohol. Lord, it was at Henrie's party. One man now. I'm not gonna say exactly what I said, but it involved sitting and a certain body part.
What did he reply?
Who said with looks? He was taken aback. I said it now. He was like, oh. He didn't know what to say. And because it was a lot to take in, as soon as it sunk in, what I had said, what I had done. Literally, it was like, get your shit together because you're too sexy for this. If you don't know how to affirm a rejection, they will mock you.
If you reject me, you
I'm
not.
No,
I will
I'm
never
cool
move
with
to a guy
rejection.
in my life again. Because what do you mean you're saying no? Like, seize the opportunity right then. It's fine. It's fine, cool. You denied me, but just know that never in your life will you ever talk to me again. Ever in your life.
The double standards of women and men when it comes to sex.
What I'm happy about though, is that in the album they address the both sides of it because it's not only men that put these double standards on us, it's like we do as well. Like say for example, if random around you call a certain girl a something or her whatever because she's out here, then sometimes you internalize it and you say it to other girls because you want to make yourself a bit more separate from her and I'm not like that. Oh my gosh, she's out here, this and that. So I feel like when we start to own it, who can say anything about it? So we definitely just have to take the power back, own the things we do.
Do you know the other side of that as well, Because I've realised that even if I think that, okay, cool, I wouldn't do what they're doing, or I would have to now, by force and fire, say that for the guy as well. Not even that I would want to judge anybody because it's not down to me to judge. I'm nobody's judger. But if I'm like, oh, do you know what? I don't like maybe this kind of thing, I now have to make that all round because I will be damned. I do not want to be that girl, that's trying to do all prim and proper for guys when really, no, this is just who I am. And do you get it? To be equal for everybody. If everyone can get it, everyone can get it. Do you know what I'm saying?
For me, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what other people do with them. It's very much like, do you?
Your body,
do
your life.
you? I do not care.
I think it's very good that we be honest about how much we have sacrificed for the D. Like, that's what I love. Do you know the For the D challenge? certain for the
Oh my
D.
God, you remember
I'll
that?
empty my bank account for the D.
No,
I give you train money for the D to come and see me. I've done these things. It's embarrassing, but I did it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like hilarious now that you can look back. Me, I've been delusional.
Same.
I've been so delusional, and I've seen women be so delusional on different levels. Like, he said he didn't want you from day one, and day two you're still there. Now you think, okay, maybe if we have a baby, maybe if we and you will go to extents of even having kids, thinking, okay, now maybe you want me. Do you want me now? Do you want me now?
100%.
And it's like, girl, you crazy.
Baby.
My name is Hemah, and the advice I would give my 21-year-old self is that she's worthy, that she is gonna meet some amazing men in the future, and that she's beautiful. All the mistakes she's made, it's okay. Like, I would kind of just let her be herself. I wouldn't really try to get involved or, you know, steer her a certain way, because your mistakes make you. And I've really, really learned to laugh at the things that I used to cry about. So it's kind of perfect now. You have to turn your lemons into lemonade.
What I realised from when I was younger is that I'm doing all of this, like I'm travelling this place to see this guy, I'm doing all of this, like missing work. I'm not going to sleep anymore because we're talking till 5 a.m. on WhatsApp, Because I don't see myself as the prize. You're doing all of this to talk to me. For me, it's like, at least at the time, I was like, yeah, I'm doing all of this to talk to you. If he wanted to that badly, then he would. Do you get it? So it depends on what you want from the person as well, because if it's really not that deep or that, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, okay, cool, it's just mutual, you go, fine. I don't know, but if it's like the other side where you're like developing feelings, whatever, then let it be known that like he needs to do the most, even to get your presence, to get your text.
A lot of the time it's like we're thinking like, does he like me? Does he want me? Am I good enough for him? But really and truly, we should be asking the question like,
is he good enough for me?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of power in owning the fact that maybe all I want is the D. Do you know what I mean?
True,
And I feel like back in the day for me, I would like be thinking I want something serious from a guy. If he's not giving it to me, I'm upset. But then I say this to my friends as well, and I had to ask myself, if this guy said to you, Hemah, I want to be serious right now. Let's be exclusive.
You would.
And you'd be like,
Like
a lot of the time, like,
start to hit. I get that all the time.
Could you walk down the aisle and see this guy's face when you take off your veil? You know, this is not the guy you want. So let's be real with ourselves. Maybe it's the D we also want, and then it cuts out a lot of bullshit.
Do none of that shit, bitch. Every time you sleep with, even if you're married, you have.
For us women, there's so much social conditioning that we don't even realise that it's like embedded within our souls. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've been told literally since you exited your mother's birth canal that your job is to be someone's wife, it's really hard to divorce those thoughts.
Even culturally, because
100%
I know from the way I was like brought up, it
Yeah.
was like that is, you don't even really date.
Exactly.
Like it is, you are dating. It's courtship.
You're dating
to be married.
someone's
like,
wife.
It just goes to show just how culturally rooted it is in Yoruba, which is a Nigerian ethnicity, Nigerian language and cultural group, etc. There's no word for girlfriend or boyfriend. It's iyawo, wife. That's it. There's no word. There's no word. When like my brothers or whatever are bringing home girlfriends or whatever, my parents would be like, "Can you girlfriend? What's girlfriend? What's girlfriend? Where's your wife? When are you going to marry?" Because for them, it's very much like we're dating with the intention of marriage. My name is Adeshayo Talabi, but you can call me Shayo. The only thing that I would tell my 21-year-old self is to slow down and to walk in her purpose. At that point in life, I was doing a lot of things that didn't really fulfill me and had nothing to do with what I knew I wanted to do and what I believed was one of my purposes. So I would tell her to slow down and not to let herself get into the mundane routine of booking shifts and not doing anything that actually served the purpose that I'm walking in today.
relationships, especially nowadays, feel so transactional, and it is all about kind of like what can I give and what can you give, and to be honest, and what can I get? And the thing is, men and women are both to blame, because the same way men are saying this woman's a gold digger or da-da-da-da-da, but are you not luring her in with your money, with your goals?
Chicken and egg, because which
Do
one
you know
comes
what I
first?
mean?
Which one
Yeah.
came
I
first?
was onto something, and there was a dating expert there, and her whole speciality is like relationships and dating, and she was saying that men's #1 concern is the fact that they feel like they're gonna get taken for a ride by women, just off the transactional point. And in my mind, I was thinking, sir, no one wants your Peloton bike and your MacBook Pro. You know, like, where is the gold that we're allegedly digging? I think it's a cop-out. And I think there's something that you said, Nada, that's really true. Like, what are you projecting?
Yeah.
Dating expert actually said, but actually, what does your profile say about you? Because if you've got your Lamborghini in the background, then what do you think you're going to attract?
They're moving the neck so we can see the Bentley.
Right,
exactly.
Same with us, yeah. So it's like, if you, like, I always say, if you have a shop, and there's only sugar on the shelf, you can't be upset that someone came to buy sugar, do you know what I mean? Same way, if on your Instagram all you have is nyash and nah.
What else?
It's like, if people come or looking for nyash, you can't be upset. You know in the song where the girl was talking about, yeah, I paid for this and paid for that because of this dick, whatever. I know more girls, who take care of their man than women that are getting taken care of by men. I know it so much.
I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the dating game where that is concerned. Where it's like, oh my gosh, like, all right, cool. Let's say he's got even a little bit of money. He works a full-time job, he's got a car, and he's got the stuff to dig, apparently. But nobody ever thinks about the woman. As in, you're now thinking that all we have is to take from you, as if you don't take from us. Emotionally, do you get it?
Exactly.
So if we're a gold digger, what are you, an emotional digger? And that makes you even more lame, because why are you coming to me for feelings, baby? Yeah. Why did you not learn that from your mother when you're young? The fact that it's not being spoken about whatsoever, and it never has been in this situation. It's always about the materialism, but really when he's crying and he's down because his boy snaked him because of this, because of that, he's actually crying with you in your house, not even in his own.
They think what they have to offer, the monetary things, it's superior, and it's of more value than what you have to offer.
Rashida's Tale and Lost Ones for me was like that moment where everything kind of just shifted. And I really love how it was, even though it was a lesbian relationship, it was like just someone taking accountability for like, I fucked up. And I know personally there have been relationships that I've been in where I have definitely been the brunt of the situation. Like,
not me.
She said, not me, can never be me.
I'm never the problem.
No, but I have like, and so people always ask, like I think when you get to things, people always ask like, oh, have you ever cheated before? And like, I've emotionally cheated. Like on retrospect now, I can sit down and be like, I've definitely emotionally cheated. I wasn't like strong enough at the time to be like, you're not for me. So instead I just, I just wrote it out. But that is something that even though it happened so many years ago, it still stays with me to this day, because I'm like, oh my God, to cause that pain to someone is a real emotional like roller coaster.
Songs like this hopefully should remind people to, say for example, when you get cheated on, don't first look at yourself and think, oh my God, I'm the problem because this happened to me. Like a lot of the time it doesn't have anything much to do with who you are, and it's more about them. You know, like a term that all my friends would say when a guy tries to do something to them, and like, am I a dickhead? Like he tried, like me, like to me. I'm like, girl, you are who you are. You are not a dickhead, and they'll start feeling this way, and all this pride and all this stuff, and it's not about the other person. So I think that's one thing, because remember, the girl said she didn't even know why she even did it.
It's the social conditioning, do you know what I'm saying? Men and women, boys and girls, we're socialized differently from when we're kids. Do you know what I'm saying? We're told that, okay, cool, as a good woman, this is what a good woman is, this is what a good girl is. As a good man, this is the bare minimum that you need to do to be considered a good man.
I'm so upset that I spent so much of my life trying to be a good woman.
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm so upset, like, why is it material? Like,
Slut shaming was my absolute bag. Like, it really was. Like, I consider, hi, my name's Audrey. I'm a reformed pick-me and a former mammy. I've unlearned it. I used to be that person, like, okay, this is really embarrassing, but my pick-me days, I took it so far, that back in the day, where I grew up on the estate, there were, like, you know, women were categorised into the hoes and the housewives, So I used to go to the park where all the man them were on the block, and I used to take my books and read.
Oh my God.
so they could see you.
So they could see me reading.
Look at Hemah's face. Can we please get a zoom in on Hemah's face?
Can you imagine? So that they would think that I wasn't like the other slaws, The slaws. That's what I used to do, and I'm so embarrassed because I never even got picked. Like, honey, like, do you know what? More time, I swear the book was probably upside down. Like, I probably wasn't reading, but I just really want to differentiate myself. Exactly.
Upside down there, baby. Upside down there.
And what books were they?
Like, no, honestly, it was like, no, I remember one of the books, it was Othello. I was in my Shakespeare bag, honey. I was in my Shakespeare bag. It was really bad. But
Audrey's in the park with an encyclopedia.
Literally, just because. The dictionary, just learning words.
All the girls that you thought you were even better than, they're all wiped off, happily married.
Living their best
living their best life. So yeah,
I say all that to say that it's an unlearning that you have to do to realise that, like, I'm Audrey. What I would tell my 21-year-old self is to travel, enjoy life, and not to centre relationships too much. I feel like I centred relationships so much at that age, and if I could do anything, I wouldn't do that as much.
I think what happens is women generally have a very toxic type of man in mind. Yeah. Because for all this pick-me type behavior is to appease judgmental men that are not going to appreciate you for who it is you are. So that's where that reduction
No, but it's
comes
unfortunate, yeah, because even what you're saying, I never really thought about it, but it's so true. Every single time we try to do pick me, it's actually for a certain type of man. Whatever you like.
That's the thing. It's like, it's so true because when you meet those kind of guys in real life, it's so funny because sometimes I'll be listening to men talking about their preferences and what they want, and I'm looking at them thinking, I wouldn't fuck you if you pay me, baby. Like, there's nothing. Like, I don't want any of you. Like, every time I'm out, I look around, I'm like, no one's even worthy here.
It's a little hurtful that I can't just be confident in being with one person.
Amanda's tale really brought a tear to my eye personally because it was actually something for me personally that was super relatable. And I know that I've been in positions before where I had no self-love, like no self-love at all. I didn't respect myself, like literally just being very, very honest. But I knew if I could be with someone sexually or someone that I even cared about sexually, that it was like almost a moment of intimacy between us two.
You realise that the best relationships actually come from you being your actual true self. Be your truest self. It physically, emotionally, like be who you are, financially, be who you want to be who you actually are, and then the right person should come and complement that and not try to change you or even try, if anything, to try to make you better. And the thing is, it's just like, for me, I've experienced that where maybe for the first time when the relationship was friendship first and not sex, it was just a whole different dynamic. I'm telling you. And I was just like, I'm not doing anything different from this again. This was so amazing. Organic. Also organic. Even though the sex was great, it was like, we have real friendship here, and that was beautiful.
There's a friend of mine who, this was back at uni, she liked this guy and they were like kind of doing things, right? But she wanted more and he didn't want that. And the whole time I was just like, because I know how amazing she is, right? The whole time I was like, please do not think that this guy is the be all and end all. And I told her that the only reason that you are settling, because that's what she was doing, the only reason that you are settling for this guy right now is because you do not see yourself. You are not at the final stage of who you are. You're not as confident as you're going to be in the future when this guy fucks off. You're not as self-assured as you're going to be. You're not as in love with yourself. I saw this before she even saw it. So she was holding on to the fragments of this relationship for a lot longer than like she needed to have. But as soon as she kind of like got out of that situation with him, she was able to say in retrospect, yeah, no, I didn't love myself as much.
Such a beautiful thing.
Retrospect, reflection, and I say to girls all the time, yeah, okay, cool, babe, I know it may seem like a really big deal right now, but remember all the waste men you've loved before and how you're over them now. So like you said, it's amazing how a lot of the time we really don't see ourselves, and your friends will see you for who you are, but again, over time, hopefully. But listen, ladies, you will get over him. You will forget him. There's so many guys that are gonna come after. Do not think that this guy is the be all and end all. 100%.
People settle for what they think they deserve or what they think they can get at that time.
And a lot of us didn't have that kind of, like, I look at people's upbringings a lot of the time, and like, I know for me, like, words of affirmation or love wasn't a thing. It wasn't spoken into me or people around me. I never saw functional relationships. Like, I didn't see that growing up. Or what I did see was just like, and I love my mum, like, God bless her, but she was just a tough, rough woman. Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like, you're chasing all the man away. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna be what I think is like the opposite of that. And this is what this album taught me, is that everyone comes from different backgrounds, we have different stories, and sometimes we want to judge, but we don't listen to people's stories and their positioning to hear their truth right now, or why they did what they did, or why they are the way they are. But that reflection and understanding is the most important.
Self-love is this thing, like we hear this term so often now, and it's like, it literally is a journey. It's not something that you acquire one day, you wake up and you love yourself. Like, I'm a big woman, I'm 36, and even now I'm still on that journey. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm still growing, but like who I was when I was 18, who I was when I was 25, who I was when I was 30, to now is completely different. And I think that, like, in terms of sex and stuff like that, I feel like we hear a lot of conversation, and I might be guilty of, like, maybe, you know, what's the word, promoting this sort of thing about having a hoe phase and stuff like that, but I just want everyone to remember that not everything is for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a hoe phase. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it not being for you. And also the girls that choose to go down that lane, if you feel like that's what you want to do and you want to explore and you want to experiment, by all means. But I also feel like there's a lot of pressure for girls that might just be naturally a bit more modest.
I think that we shouldn't, like, have this one kind of like one glove fits all for different types of relationships, because even as we're having this conversation and we're all saying all of these things, really it is what suits us individually, because what suits me won't be what suits you, Hemah, or what suits you, Audrey, or Nada, or Sayo. Do you get it? So it's all going to be all different, and whatever feels like love to you and real, true and genuine love is what you should accept. And if it doesn't feel like true and genuine love, then don't accept it.
I was going to say, because in a lot of songs, when a woman is talking about getting a man back, she'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking best friend, and like, you're gonna make me a host because of what you did to me. Watch me, I'm gonna be there. Like, that's. I really wanted to kind of like just like kind of zone in on the fact that don't hurt yourself trying to hurt a man. Like,
I genuinely think the best revenge, honestly, is doing better, and glowing up, and just like. I always think men come back anyway.
They do. They come back, especially when you're about to move on to someone else.
This album was actually giving me, from the time I was listening to it over and over again, I was like, it gives me a babe that's kind of down bad. And it's like, oh yeah, we've all kind of been there where we are down bad, but I think from time you clock that, that's even where you're headed. Stand up. You have to actually pick yourself up and move like the woman that you were made to be. Like the amount of songs that's even in this, and the amount of interludes that I'm hearing down badness in, it's actually enough for me to stand up, pick up my pants and actually go.
Just a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery, it's a rediscovery, reinvention. You're kind of like reinventing yourself, essentially. You're figuring out who it is you are. She's being very honest about the different mentalities that you can find during these kind of situations, you know? So I would say it's a journey.
I would say this album is all about relatability. Like, anytime like I see anything on like social media, whether it's music, whatever, I realise that we're all living the same lives.
Oh my God.
Like, it's actually mad, especially like little nuanced things that you think are so, like, exactly, like in different bodies, like little nuanced things that you think are so exclusive to you, and then you hear Jazmine sing about it and you're like, oh my God, you over there in big America, I'm over here in Brixton, and we're going through the same thing, and I love that, and I love the vulnerability that it takes to be able to put that out there so that other women can relate to it and heal. I love that for us.
Yeah, I think that this was the type of album that makes you reflect on the things you've been through. But you know me, I kind of laugh at everything I've ever been through. I don't know if it's a bad coping mechanism, but it works for me. Like, it didn't make me too emotional, like, oh my God, this is like, I'm so upset. But you know, a little bit of reflection, a bit of content, and On It was my favourite song. So, you know, I'm just with the nastiness.
I just love that it feels like it's safe and there's no judgment. I feel like in society now, everything is very pointing fingers. It just felt grown, it felt mature, it felt reflective, it felt like they understood what was going wrong. There was hope in it as well, that they were willing to like adjust and pattern what was going wrong with their lives as well. But yeah, thank you, ladies. All right, then, cheers.